Hey all, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Wow, being pregnant after 40 years, I mean, just thinking about it gives me chills, right? As you already know, I have a 25-year-old who is doing her master's and she's about to graduate, and I have an 18-year-old who's about to start college. And as a result, I am ready to travel the world because, you know, raising children, especially children that far apart, means that it takes longer for you to raise your children. But my kids had a 7-year gap between them. They are very close, fortunately, and I try to make them understand that, especially because we are immigrants, it's important for them to always have a close relationship so that they never feel alone in the world. But when my son was born, my daughter was already 7 years old, and they had an awesome time growing up together. And my daughter went to a boarding school, I think around 15 or 16 years old. I can't remember. I think it was around 15 years old. She went to a boarding school to finish her high school, and as a result, basically that's when she left home, and then she went to college, of course. So my son was sort of like grew up by himself, and I also made a grave mistake, which was to move to a neighborhood where, yes, there were kids, or there are kids, but they were much younger than him, or, you know, like the ones that were his age, you know, like didn't play outside or whatever. But as a result, he kind of grew up alone. So I've always thought about, it would have been nice if I had my kids close together so that they can grow up together and always grow up, you know, like as siblings. I mean, the gap is closing as the older they get, of course. But after I had my son, I decided I was done having children, and I actually went and had my tubes tied because I was like, I am done. I'm not having any more children because I have a boy and a girl, and, you know, like that's enough for me. But over the years, I've questioned my decision as to whether it was the right thing to do, considering that my son pretty much grew up by himself. I mean, it was the same for my daughter as well. She did not have like a sibling, but fortunately for her, while she was in South Africa all the time, she had her cousins around her. So my son really didn't have anyone. So if I would give advice to any women out there, would be to say, have your children as close as possible. That way they can grow together, learn to share all the benefits that come with having your children close together. You can hand down their clothes, you can use the same furniture, baby furniture and all of that, instead of always having to go and buy new every time because you're starting over. So, and your children will not know, because guess what, they are too young to know. Only your friends or those other people you care about will know, but your children will not care. But let me come back to being pregnant after 40. So I've thought about it, and I've thought about it, and I've thought about it, and because I had decided, you know, like I no longer want to have children, I said to myself, you know what, let me embrace the fact that I made a decision in my 20s after I had my second child, and not ever have another child. You use this time to really dedicate to myself and to my husband, and we can do the things that we didn't do in the beginning of our young relationship. And now this is an opportunity for us in our 40s to basically be empty nesters. And so I am looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to just, you know, like I love my children, and I feel like I've given them, you know, like my time, and I'm happy that, you know, I had that opportunity to raise them. And but at the same time, it is time to party. So I'm really looking forward to just, you know, like being a, you know, like a young person. You know, they say, right, life begins at 40. And so when I turned 40, which was a few years back, I decided that I would dedicate my 40s and my 50s and my 60s to just traveling and living life to the fullest, so that when actually my grandchildren, I already have grandchildren, but they live in South Africa, and that story is convoluted, so I'm not going to get into it. But I don't have at this point any reason not to, you know, like do the things that I've always wanted to do. And I'm happy that actually I still have all this energy to go out and you know, like, and live it up. Not that, you know, like it really, this comes down to, at what point is it better to have children? And in my view, it's best to have children in your 20s, your 30s, at least late 20s. I think that's my view. I think it's better to have children in your late 20s, because at that point you've already finished with college. Hopefully you've already gotten your first job, and hopefully you've already gotten married in your late 20s. And then in your 30s, and I mean 30s, really, that's the time I think you should be done. And then in your 40s, for most people, they'll be raising their kids. In my case, I started very young, so in my 40s I'm gonna be doing a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do in my 20s. But the way that I'm not going to recreate my 20s. No, I'm not going to be clubbing or doing whatever the crazy stuff young people do. I'm going to be blogging, I'm going to be creative, I'm going to travel. I'm just gonna do the things that I wish I had done. Not to, again, not to take away from the fact that I had great opportunity to raise my children. So, but anyway, I hope you guys like the video, and please do share it. And I am not pregnant, and I will never be pregnant again unless a miracle happens. Anyway, thank you so much, and I enjoyed doing this video with you. Like, subscribe.